Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel for another exciting fun-filled episode on this Passagemaker dinghy build series. We got lots to do, so let's get at it. But first, so I mentioned at the end of the last video, I wanted to make sure I mentioned it here in the beginning of this video. To my Minecraft fans, I apologize, but I probably will not be doing any more Minecraft videos. Like I said, it's a little bit like work to me at this point to do Minecraft videos. Just something I'm not real interested in doing. It was when I was working, it was fine, but now that I'd rather be out doing a few things, like working on the boat and doing some other things. So we probably will not be doing any more Minecraft videos. So I know most of my subscribers were for the Minecraft videos. So if you want to unsubscribe, I don't have any problem with that. I don't blame you at all. But moving forward, we'll be doing DIY. Hopefully we'll be doing some sailing on this dinghy and some future projects. So anyways, let's go ahead and get at it. All right, so where we left off last episode, I don't remember if I showed you, but I was gluing up the two pieces here to make a laminate for the plugs when we eventually get around to doing this part here. I was a little concerned. In fact, on this one you can see that it's got a pretty good curve to it, but then if you look at the bottom of the boat, there's a pretty good curve on the bottom of the boat. So I think I actually got lucky there. I hadn't thought about it until I brought these out here and looked at them, but that'll help us quite a bit of getting the plug in there right without having to do much sanding. And yeah, so when I cut the hole out, then I'll just make sure that the two ends are flush with the bottom of the boat, and then we can sand down and get this bottom here real flush. On the inside, we'll shape it so that it fits the daggerboard trunk, and then the opposite on the seat plug, we'll do it so that the top of the seat is flush, and then fit the bottom so that the trunk will fit in there. So yep. So but anyways, we got I'm going to kind of put this aside for probably a couple days, maybe even a little bit longer, because we're actually starting to see a little bit cooler weather here in Florida. In fact, they're saying it's going to be down into the low 70s tonight. I'll believe it when I feel it. But so anyways, one of the things that I can do here pretty soon, in fact I could probably do it here any day now, is start to put the final finish on some of these, or at least start to put the final finish on some of these parts that are going to be that aren't going to be painted, that will be varnished kind of. So it calls for a 220 grit finish, if not better, so it really wants to be real smooth. I did the rudder cheeks again, and I did get a little bit of through sanded it a little bit, over sanded a couple areas, and I've got a little bit of the same here. I'm not sure if I can do this one-handed. There we go. You might be able to see here along the edge where I sanded through the epoxy a little bit. So I probably will have to do a little bit of touch up on this, but I'm starting to get the hang of it now. I had been using the power sander, the orbital sander, to do it, but now I've switched over to just doing hand sanding with 120 grit and 220 grit sandpaper, and just doing hand sanding. It takes quite a while, but I'm not getting very many through spots where I get through the epoxy, and some of these I might just let go and not worry about it, and then just varnish over them. So anyways, let me get through this. I'll go ahead and probably do either a time lapse or just cut in some footage of me doing quite a bit of hand sanding, because I think that's what I'll be doing for at least the next couple days probably. I still do have to go back to Makerspace and do one more test pattern I want to do for the for this over here, and this will take quite a bit of epoxy with filler in it, so holding off until the weather gets better is probably okay. And then I still do have some sanding left on the bottom of the hull, so I'll probably sand until I get tired of sanding again, and then go back to Makerspace and do some more test, at least one more test run, and then maybe even cut out the final template and plug template for fixing this. But anyways, let me get you set up and I'll do some hand sanding. All right, so I got about the last third of this yard here to sand down. I'm not sure how good this is gonna come out, but anyways, you can see the hopefully you can see I've got the drippage along this edge here. This top edge here needs quite a bit of work. Got a few spots along here, and then this edge here needs quite a bit of work. The good thing is the these flat parts seem to be had done pretty good. I got just a couple spots. So anyways, I got my sanding mouse here, and this is just 220 grit. I find using the this little sanding block mouse with 220 grit keeps me from sanding through the epoxy for the most part, and it makes pretty quick work, but the 220 really it goes pretty slow. So the other thing I've been doing is using just a regular piece of 220 sandpaper here with my hands to get some of these drips out of the way. And then going back to the 220, both on the sanding mouse, and I've got a separate piece, seems to work pretty good for me. Switching over to the 220 on these edges seems to help not sanding through. All right, so I just realized I'm still recording. Yeah, so that's kind of the way it goes. I go by feel for the most part once I get down to a certain point, and then do some sanding, either using the 120 or the 220 to get it to smooth it out and try to keep it relatively clean with my little duster here thing. And yeah, that's my life. So I'm going to pause here so I can turn some tunes on, and I got a little bit more here to do on this to finish it up. Once I get to the point where I'm starting to sweat too much and this is turning into a wet sand, then I call it quits for the day. But anyways, we'll pause here. I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing next. It's probably more sanding, depending on the weather. We may actually try to do some varnishing just as a test on the rudder cheeks, depending on the weather here. So anyways, we'll pause here and be back later. Woohoo, look at that, 70.5 degrees, still 70% humidity, but that should go down as the day warms up a little bit. So yeah, so it's the first coolish day we've had in a long time, so pretty happy about that. It's still pretty early in the morning. This week I've been, since I last recorded, I've still been sanding. So I sanded the rudder cheek assembly down again, and I got maybe just a few spots that are maybe where I sanded through the epoxy, but at this point it's good enough. I'm not putting any more epoxy on it, and I'm not sanding it again. This is ready, as far as I'm concerned, this is ready for starting on the finish. And the same thing goes with the yard and the boom. I've done pretty good sanding, and I sanded down to 220 grit on all these, so they're ready for the finish, right? So it's going to be a wood varnish type of thing. And when I'm using, the max temperature can be up to 95 while it's curing. And I think out in the shed here, so when I'm doing the finishing, the varnishing stuff, I don't want to be doing anything else in the shed, and I want to keep the windows closed so that I don't stir up any of the dust and try to minimize the amount of activity in the shed. So with the shed closed up, it gets up to almost, yesterday it was up about 95. I'll see what it is today, but I need to put at least 3 coats on, and it has to be no more than, I think, 24 to 36 hours, depending on the temperature between coats, or you got to sand. And it's got to be more than was it 12 or 18? Anyways, I got the instructions. I'll go through them again. But anyway, so there's a time period where I need to have really good temperatures to do this finishing work. So for now, that's going to go on hold. This morning, I went up to the maker space and did another round of templates. This part here is the same, except I did do some tweaks and made sure I had the focus, the laser focus height set exactly right. And I got a little bit better edge on it this time, I think. So this is the one that fits in there. And then also, because, let me get this here. So this is the one that fits right inside of it. And if you remember, I had, on the other ones, it seemed like there was a little bit bigger gap there. This one actually fits pretty tight. But I had also gone ahead and done another, if I can get this one out of here. I also had done another, this will be the template for the plug. I did another one this one is 1/16 of an inch bigger than the other one all the way around. And it's just still a little bit too tight. So I think with the way I got the laser and everything, I think this is the setup that we'll use to do it. So then at the same time, I also went and did a piece of plexiglass here at the same, you probably can't hardly even see this. I just realized it. The same thing. I think the edge seems like it's a little bit smoother, and it seems like it'd be a little bit better for the for using the router bit, the pattern bit on the router. So I think this is what we're going to end up using to do this this massive bigger hole in my boat here. And then of course I got the matching plug blank for it, and it'll go right on my my two pieces there. And I'll probably go ahead and set up that makeshift router table that I had when I do that. So anyways, I think I'll go ahead and get set up here today, and we'll see if we can get some bigger holes cut in the boat here. I'm going to drill some holes. I didn't even think about that until I got back. I should have had the laser put some holes in the corners here for me, but that's easy enough. I can drill some holes, and then I'll do some screws through this side here, and then we'll get the router out and see how we can do. I did get some screws for this, some short screws, so I don't want to go through all the way through the boat if I can, because this area here will be you know, still visible. But so on the bottom here I'll be putting in fiberglass and painting it, so you shouldn't see the holes here. When we do the seat, I'll be doing it on the underside of the seat, so we'll try to do the same thing there. So anyways, let me get set up here. I need to drill some holes in these. We'll get this fitted and see if we can make a bigger hole in the boat. Alrighty then, after multiple distractions, some choice cuss words, and rooting around in the shed, I think I'm finally ready to go. So I already drilled the holes in the template here in the corners. Now I probably should have thought a little bit more about this and made this template a little bit bigger, because when we go around with the router, I think we may have to remove one screw when we get to that spot, but for now we'll go with it as it is. So I got the holes drilled. I've got really short half-inch screws. So I've got I just want to put just a little bit of, even just a mark in here. Getting these clamps in here to hold it in place and get it situated was one of the things that was a distraction, because they don't fit through the hole. So I had to find the ones that I could take the other end off, and yeah, so that was the problem. And I think I'm about as good. Let me just look one more time. I think I'm about as centered as I'm going to get. It's kind of hard to tell with those clamps in the way, and there might be moving that string just a little bit, but I think I'm pretty darn close. Can't be off more than 1/4 of an inch, not the almost inch it is right now. So all right, so good. So let me get these holes drilled. I just want to, like I said, just put a small, almost just a pilot starting spot there. All right, now for the screws. I'm just going to put these in by hand, and if they go through, they go through, but hopefully they don't. All right, good deal. Now I just need to climb under the boat so I can take these clamps off, and then I'll probably loosen it up enough so I can get the string out, and then we should be ready to router this hole out. All right, then, the astute among you will realize there might be some extra holes here now. So I got it all put in. I got the string all taken out, and I was looking at it, and I was like, geez, something's not right. And sure enough, I didn't have the front to back orientation. When I had done the I don't remember what one it was, but anyways, when I had done the plug here, I had left put 2 holes in the ends here, and those are pretty close to what should be the ends of the square that'll get cut here. And by having it back farther, we would have been out of alignment for the holes in the plug. Now I could have adjusted for that, because really, you know, the plug just needs to fill the hole, and then I just need to wherever the daggerboard trunk lines up is where the hole needs to be going. But I figured since I'd gone to this much trouble that I might as well go ahead and fix it. Just a couple extra holes here. These 2 will get filled anyways, and I'll just have to make sure I get those 2 anyways. And you can hopefully see that those and these holes are also important for when I make the plug, I'll actually drill these holes in it. I'll use these center ones for screws to hold it hold the plug to the blank, and then these screws here will actually be what holds the plug, the actual plug that I make down. So I'll be able to sandwich it from both sides with a bolt and some either big washers or just small pieces of wood to sandwich it together to make it nice and smooth. Anyways, you'll see that when I get to it. But yeah, now I think we're all set. Let me get geared up here. I've got the router all set up, so let me just get some dust protection and ear protection on, and we'll get right at it. I got my my screwdriver ready, because like I said, I think I'm going to have to take these screws out one at a time as we get to them. But let's see how this goes. It's a pretty big area to do here, but it feels pretty good on this plexiglass. It feels pretty good. I think I'm going to go ahead and start at this end. You're probably not going to see much here, but trust me, it's pretty thrilling. That fiberglass is tearing a little bit. It doesn't like cutting it, but I've also got it set pretty high. I've got the speed down as low as it'll go. Let me keep going. I've got extra bits here if this gets too eat up by the fiberglass. So yeah, let's keep going. I'm going to go this way around it. If anybody wants to get me something for Christmas, a fire extinguisher would be really good. Oh, jeez. Yeah, need to put that on my list as a fire extinguisher out here in the shop. Whew. Yeah, that's going to need some cleaning up, but I think we're at least in the right area. All right, since there's quite a bit of material, that's the problem. Hold on, I can't hear myself with the stuff on here. Since there's so much material, you know, the router's actually cutting 360. I think I'm going to give the old jigsaw here a go and see if I can at least get rid of some of this material and make it easier on the router to clean this up. All right, new blade, and let's see how this goes. This side's going to need a little bit of cleanup. Hopefully this side is pretty close with that jigsaw. I'm pretty surprised by it. One thing I think I'm going to go ahead and do first is take out a screw here. Let's get rid of this one here first. All right, good deal. Good deal. That worked a lot better. Woohoo! Good grief. Learned some lessons on that one, that's for sure. Learned a couple of lessons. Let's see how this looks once we take it off. I think it's going to look pretty good. I think I'm going to be mildly surprised at how good it looks. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. That doesn't hardly need any cleanup at all. Just like it was made for it. Yeah, just a little bit of cleanup. Yeah, I'll probably have to be doing some, well, there is a bend in it too. Yes, I'll probably doing some light sanding on it, and when I make this plug for real, I'll probably end up sanding it down a little bit too. This is a lot tighter than I thought it was going to be. Yeah, I think we got yep, so good deal. Whew. Well, that wore me right out. So we're going to pause here, see where we're at. We're going to finish up the episode next or be back tomorrow. Alrighty then, that's going to do it for this video. The next video may be in 2 weeks. It may be next week, but it might be in 2 weeks. I've got some stuff to do around the house now that the weather's cooled down a little bit, and I need to do a little bit of work on the motorcycle if I want to ride that, you know, and with the weather the way it's looking, motorcycle season is on, so I got to keep priorities straight. Anyways, next episode we will be doing the other hole, making the other hole. We know how to do that now, and then also doing the plugs, forming the plugs that'll go in the holes, so we can get back to almost where we started from. But anyways, I want to say thanks for watching. Thanks for your support. Make sure you're hitting that like button. Please leave me any comments, questions, suggestions down below. Please tell your friends about me, and please subscribe. Everyone, take care and be good.